Oh, she's
I'm not
in.
usually. Oh, she's
She's
in.
in now. Yeah.
She took the host from me. That was the highlight of my life.
Or Brian. We've been usurped.
At least I was the best host there ever was for about
Yeah.
10 minutes.
You were.
Thank you.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, the Wi-Fi's had to come back.
Yeah, it's
Ish.
awesome.
Ish. I mean, I don't know how much longer we have.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot I have to admit everybody still. Oh.
Alrighty, guys. So again, once again, there's another hurricane. I am very tired of this season. As you know, we have gone to lots of Greek letters now, and the world is learning the Greek alphabet now. So, you know, yay, that's a plus. So here we go. We have Eta here. This mess of convection here is Eta. As you can see, it's essentially been obliterated in terms of the convection by the mountains in Central America. With the general idea is that it's gonna make it out this way or this way. I think it's actually probably more like that. The problem here is that there's really no defined like circulation at the moment. It's gonna be pretty hard, especially for modeling, because for some reason the nested grid for the H4 takes it. Yeah, because the H4, what it does, it essentially takes the storm and just does that. And then the parent actually takes it out more towards us. So if you guys decide to go look at modeling, just keep in mind, there's something definitely not working on the H4 right now. It's definitely not getting a handle on what's going on. However, what we try to do here is, well, typically I don't like doing it this way, but we're actually going to go to NHC first and then talk about it. Okay, so they have more of a turn, tighter turns. I know earlier they were showing it more this way, but we'll kind of look at what's going on here. So here's the official track. So sure, they're claiming that the center is here. Sure. And then have it making a hard turn out, and then paralleling the west coast. So we can kind of see roughly what's going on. So now that I kind of orient on at least the official forecast, we can do so. Roughly speaking, we have the center here. My guess is they're calling the center this convection, more or less. I think they're calling that the center. Right here, kind of, anyways. And that it's basically essentially like that. And indeed, we do seem to still have a bit of at least a broad circulation from the storm. You can kind of see some low level clouds moving in like that. There's some, granted, very sheared outflow like that. We have some low level winds more or less like so, and then we have some broad circulation out over yonder there. So it's more or less a mess. You can see some signs of it hitting some shear there, and then this whole area here is a pretty good indicator of some shear here. This convection here has essentially been sitting there since it made landfall. So we got a few things going on for us here in terms of figuring out where this thing's going to go. Seems like model confidence is pretty good with the sharp turn, and we can see if perhaps some of the water vapor will help us figure out why we're making this turn. I don't know if this exact image is perfect. I mean, there's definitely this trough coming down here. and there's clearly some sort of trough here, shearing the storm. And it looks like there's even a little bit of, maybe a bit of a trough here as well, and that's probably what's really going to make that turn. We can go ahead and we can kind of look at what the overall situation is here. So this is our mid-level shear. So you can see it sort of analyzes some sort of upper level ridge right there, and then fairly strong winds digging down from Texas down into the Gulf of Mexico to the Florida Straits, with our little maybe sort of storm, whatever the circulation is right here. See real quick, we can kind of see if this thing's lopsided by looking at the different vorticity. And it's actually at least somewhat still kind of intact. You see a little bit of the divergence aloft and the associated water vapor. And so I normally don't do this, but we actually will do a little bit of model today. If I can. And surprisingly, I'm a little surprised how well they actually got the center here. Obviously, a lot of these the forecasters can actually specify where the vortex is, so that helps. But it looks like we're pretty good with roughly a turn to the back to the northeast with this. But I would say that at least with this method of forecasting, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of good answers. So I want you guys to kind of understand why these are out here. These are basically they're essentially taking one layer of the atmosphere and using that steering flow to determine the path. And that's and then most of these storms that are close to the official track are either dynamic core models, so they're more like what the models you guys are used to, so they actually have physics of the atmosphere in them, and or they are consensus, basically taking a whole bunch of other models together and taking averages and having them be they're actually weighted averages. They're not just straight averages, but just something to kind of understand when you guys are looking at these charts. Try to, especially if you guys aren't, in HC, you're not going to understand every little bit of every little model like they will. But kind of have an understanding of which ones are dynamic, which ones are statistical, which ones are just taking like one layer, and kind of understand roughly how they come up with their forecast when you assess something like that. Overall, you can, this black line, by the way, is the official forecast. If you guys can't read the labels or it gets buried. So this is kind of an interesting, and we can real quick, we can go and see that there is a bit of a trough here over the United States, with the expectation that this will develop a lot more the next day. Things don't look great for development, at least say the next 6 hours. Actually, the stuff up here in Canada has a much better shot in the next few hours. But this is going to help determine our track towards Florida in the next few days or so. So we'll be keeping an eye out for any troughs that enter into the Gulf of Mexico. And we'll see what other really crazy things we'll get from a Florida November storm potentially. Again, you guys know I absolutely hate showing models for various reasons, but the GFS is so hilariously funny, I couldn't resist. Take out Puerto Rico, or not Puerto, sorry, Cuba. Hoping I go to Puerto Rico. Take out the keys, go into reverse, hit the keys again, hit Cuba again. And then hopefully the Wi-Fi isn't too bad. You guys could see it just slamming into Mexico for some reason. Yeah, that's called a model run you don't follow. And I have absolutely no control over anything at the moment. Stop share real quick. I'm gonna try to regroup this a little bit.
But you're lagging badly, just so you know. Because, like, when you were saying it was going to hit Cuba and then the keys, like, you were still down in Nicaragua, basically.
We're just trying to give this a second to see if the internet will catch up to us a little bit. Though we're not overly optimistic.
While we're waiting, how's everyone doing?
I'm good. Just
I'm
chilling.
okay. I had a math test today.
How'd that go?
I did pretty well on it.
That's good.
You failed. Do not say that. You never say you did well. You will.
He probably got the grade back already, dude.
Yeah, I already got the grade back.
That's why I was like, yeah, you probably got the grade back already. That's why you could say that. If you didn't get the grade back and you think you passed or you think you did well, that's when you start getting concerned.
Oh, no, if I don't know if I know the grade back, I don't think I failed, but.
You probably didn't fail. You're a smart kid.
Well, I didn't know the grade. I got the grade back, so.
Ah, yeah. You're smart. You'll be fine.
I did fine. No, I did fine.
Yeah, we're gonna try to end this.
Apologies for all the Wi-Fi issues. That's out of our control. I wish it was better.
So I think I'll finish kind of where I started here. And so yeah, Florida might have a November hurricane. We'll have to see what it goes. there seems to at least be somewhat agreement that it'll probably be more of a tropical storm in nature, given how much land it has to go over. The waters down there are actually still pretty warm, so it might not quite be like a scenario like we saw in the Gulf with having significant cold water next to the shore, although that didn't really matter a whole lot last time. So we'll see what we get. We see what the trough does and see what kind of shear environment we have. I know we got members in the Keys, and that's definitely not a great scenario for them, especially if they're trying to do online classes during a tropical storm. But we'll see what happens. At the moment, it looks like it might be more of a rain event than a wind event, but who knows? We're still 5 days out, so we might have a very interesting week next week. We'll see. Any questions? Can you guys actually hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna call it a night before this gets any worse.
Sorry for all the problems again. I feel bad, but there's nothing we can do. I appreciate all your patience. And hope the meeting was still good, even though we'd lost the internet too much. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to end this. Yes, Nico. That's technically not our motto anymore, but yeah. All right. So, have a good night, y'all.